Okay, jumping back a couple weeks, I want to start by bragging on the guys at 424. So we're adding some SKUs in EWP, some LVL and I-joists, and that necessitated a little bit more room. We're changing our strategy on cutting, and the guys took this area at the back of Cecil Center where we used to store house wrap and repurposed it. I love this as a 3S improvement. So new standard, the house wrap is still back there, still easy to get to, but creates the extra room that we needed. Love this new standard, guys, and way to execute. Over to the truss plant. Something that bugged Felix was cleaning the web saw with this hose. When you blow it out at the end of shift, you end up eating a bunch of sawdust, and it's hard to kind of get in there. So they just extended it, made it way easier to get in all the cracks and crevices with less struggle, and you're also not eating sawdust in the process. Really, really good improvement. Way to fix what bugs you, Felix. This is great. Another improvement in trusses where we're eliminating struggle. When you're on table 1, you have to, when the truss is rolled by the gantry, you've got to pull it off onto the eject rollers that take it through the final press, and we've got those stairs right there, and we used to just have that one set, but if it's a long truss or you've got multiples, you had to walk back and forth to get to that one set of stairs. So added a set of stairs, less struggle, less transportation waste. We're actually going to eliminate having to pull the truss off altogether later in the year, but we'll show that improvement when it's done. But great job, guys. Way to eliminate the transportation waste and just the struggle. I like it. We want to hold a higher standard everywhere we can, just get a little bit better every day. And Omar noticed that around his welding area, it just turned into a little bit of a catch-all or just leftover parts and components from previous projects that didn't have a home and were never dealt with. So he did some 3S'ing and it looks awesome. Just having a spot for all of that scrap metal, having a spot for all of your tools, getting all of the junk out of there that didn't need to be there, taping areas off that need to stay clear so they can be easily accessed safely. Just lots and lots of good stuff going on here, upping the standard. Way to go, Omar. Corey and Anthony fixed what bugs them at the OSB saw. So when you've got drops that you want to reuse, we had just been leaning them up against the wall, which works. But if you get a bunch of them or you don't put them at the right angle, they end up sliding out. So they built this little rack with a lip so they can't slide out. Like this as a safety improvement and just fix what bugs you. Okay, I love this one from Antonio. So remember, we're not trying to make these giant improvements. We're just trying to save 2 seconds. So this was the forklift path when unloading pine into the truss plant. Noticed that he needed to move the rack so he didn't have to drive around them. So he had a straight shot. So just got that done, a straight shot from where you're unloading the truck over there, straight into the warehouse instead of having to drive around them. I love that you're seeing waste like this, Antonio. You're killing it. More stairs built to eliminate struggle. Aaron's showing us at the stacking station on the extruder. Occasionally, if you've got a really tall bundle, you need to get up on the table to make it easier to stack instead of having to jump up. Now they've got stairs just to eliminate a little bit of struggle, and that is the name of the game. Great job, Aaron. Greg and JC did a great job organizing the bookshelf in the truss plant. We got a lot of awesome titles, as many of them as we can in Spanish and English. Guys, the Spanish-speaking team in the truss plant are learners. They're consuming a ton of these books, and it's awesome. Thank you, Greg and JC, for cleaning up that bookshelf that Jose made. Looks awesome. Kanban cards associated with it. Just really, really good stuff. So this idea started at the special wall station, and it just continues to spread. So the pocket for the nails and then a nail gun holder on the outside of the table, you end up clogging up your workspace if you don't have that. Just stuff laying on the table, which is your actual workspace. And you don't have a standard, so the gun ends up on the floor or where are the nails. You end up wasting motion in the process. So I love this improvement, and I love how it spreads. Thanks, Andrew. So this is D-Saw 2. It's our second component saw that's sitting in the expansion area. And this is something that we need on particularly heavy truss days, or if D-Saw 1 goes down, we want to be able to just swap over and not lose any time or production. And we've been having issues getting this thing fully operational, mostly on the IT side. So thank you, IT, and everyone involved, because she's 100% now, and it's awesome. So it's really bad when you are trying to be lean and your cleaning supplies looks like this. Greg, thank you for owning this and getting this cleaned up. Still a ways to go, but infinitely better than it was. And Greg just took them on this on himself and made it happen. So Great improvement, and let's keep it going. So continuing in the vein of upping the standard, this was the men's bathroom in the truss plant. So nothing horrible, but just not up to the standard that we wanted. So we renovated it, handled it in-house. Thank you, Colin, Andrew, and everybody else involved. You did an unbelievable job. Here it is now. Guys, this is like high-end restaurant stuff. They added a stall, they added a urinal. And this is just a signal to everyone that they're respected, that we respect each other, and this is a space that says that. So it's really, really unbelievable. If you're in Murfreesboro, you got to go see the bathroom in the truss plant. It's worth it. So Corey noticed a bit of struggle when ejecting walls off the exterior framing table. So that piece of blue roller was attached to the stationary rollers, and the wall would hang up, particularly on taller walls. It would hang up and create a little bit of struggle getting that wall ejected off the framing table onto the rollers. So they changed where that blue transfer roller was. They attached it to the table to eliminate that struggle. Also hinged it so you could get through if need be. Great improvement. Really cool improvement over in floors. So these yellow carts are for transferring floor truss webs to the build station. And something that could happen is you dump them. And that's a defect that's no fun. Lots of overprocessing if you're playing pickup sticks. And so they just built little walls to slide in on the sides so you don't risk dumping any of that material. They're removable so that you can easily access everything, but while you're transferring them, you don't run the risk of dumping them. Great improvement, Davis and team. I love it. Moving right over to Beasley, Travis showing us the Husky Portal. This is a tool that our dynamic developer duo of Chandler and Yesh continue to make constant improvements on. It's an awesome tool. And here, this populates incoming window trucks for Windows receiving to be able to plan, know what's coming, know how many parts and pieces, know how many windows. And there was some manual adjustment that had to happen previously, and they fixed that, as well as starting to generate some incoming order information for the guys in millwork receiving. Just a very, very cool tool to be able to plan ahead, which is awesome. Thank you, Travis, for highlighting it. Thank you, Chandler. And yes, it's an amazing tool. Neri creating a dedicated location for his shovel and broom. This might seem small, but I promise you it's not. Husky has bought lots and lots of shovels and brooms over the years when they don't have dedicated locations, because they end up disappearing or getting laid down on the ground and getting damaged. And you just overprocess and waste time and the waste of waiting looking for your shovel, your broom. So, Neri, this is a great improvement. I really like this one. So sometimes defects happen that are outside of our control. We can do everything that we can to schedule well and to try to get good information from our customers. And sometimes dead runs still happen. Maybe it's weather related, maybe it's just poor communication, but whatever it is, they do still happen. And so now, instead of it being a mess when those come back, we've got a system for it. We've got a cart that we can collect that stuff so nothing gets misplaced when it comes back. Again, wish this didn't happen, but the reality is that it does. And now we've got a system to make it as easy as possible. Thank you, Gus. Matt Bennett's on a tear with the label maker and making it easy, putting the answer where the question is for anybody cleaning or restocking the production office over at Beasley. So labeled everything, created a little matrix of where everything goes. Awesome improvement, Matt. You're killing it with the label maker. Tez showing off the amazing work that the logistics team at Beasley does. Look how clean all of this is. And guys, if you don't think that this doesn't build confidence in us from the customer's perspective, you'd be wrong. Just the care for the product. If it looks really good, they could tell we care. This is just a giant win. You guys are awesome. Thank you, Tez. So when it's raining, we wrap the units of material for customers so that those don't get wet in transport. We've got these plastic sleeves, and we didn't have a good process for those plastic sleeves. We just lay the material on the ground, and very manual process, a lot of struggle. So bringing that up to working height to make it a little bit easier. I like it, Ken. Francisco in Beasley Production jumping on the label game as well, labeling where all of his parts and pieces go in the exterior stations. And this definitely saves 2 seconds, eliminates confusion, holds the standard. Just definitely a win. Way to go, Francisco. Corey with a great safety improvement here. So when loading the Eagle, the interior door machine, they go on those rollers right there. But that arm comes down and picks up all the slabs. So you don't want to go past his yellow marks here. So as you're on the forklift, make it easy to know where to stop and where to load those in. Also marked it clearly on the floor. I love this safety improvement, Corey. So instead of searching for straps, instead of searching for your tire pressure gauge, just have a little standard, these little kits. Michael, I love this improvement. Always having the tools that you need right where you need them. You don't have to hunt for them. Great improvement from Beasley Logistics. Way to go.